So the way the game works is you're in this rat race. There's two portions. One's like a circle, and first you're looking at this big, huge board. The rest of it's like when you're wealthy and you have your dream and you can go and do all these big, huge things. And you see this like wheel, and you're thinking, when you look at the board game, you're thinking you're gonna be going all over this thing and stuff, but you get stuck in this like little tiny wheel constantly for most of the game, right? And it simulates obviously the rat race. I mean, you work where you work, and you get your cash every 2 weeks, and just kind of do it over again. And then you go to school, and then you get out, and you go and get a better job. You're still stuck in that little rat race. No matter what, you're gonna always be in that rat race if you do things the normal way. And so it's cool. You got to play, and you got to play, and then you guys started competing, and then you guys started. It's funny. Gabe even said, "Yeah, I think we were cheating or whatever because we would take out loans and then use that to pay." And I'm like, dude, that's not cheating. If it lets you do it, you can do it. Just like in real life, you can go take out loans, take out lines of credit or whatever, and use those to then buy what you want, and then for the cash flow, flip it or use it for cash flow or whatever. It's just mimicking real life. It's mimicking what you're truly able to do. And I was telling Gabe is like, and the reason it's funny because even Art was saying, we're talking a lot about this stuff on my business podcast. Like, kind of what does this have to do with anything? This has to do with a lot. I mean, even though this is personal finance, it plays into business. I try and explain this to business people, how this all works, and a lot of them don't understand how to use lines of credit, how to do sweep strategies, how to pay off debts, how to use debt to make money, and so on and so forth. And so it becomes extremely valuable.
And they're already successful at that point too?
They're already successful at that point. Like, I have guys who I look up to, who I shared how I use lines of credit, and they're like, I never thought about that. That's crazy. Okay. And then they start doing it.
Yeah.
The cool thing is, when you get into this realm of stuff, you, just like with jiu-jitsu, you're always going to learn something that you're going to know something that somebody else doesn't. Then you'll be able to teach them, they'll teach you, and then you just kind of grow. It's always that way. But it's also very simple. Like with the loans that you guys were taking out and stuff, how much in real life, if let's say you did $100,000 in a line of credit or loan or whatever, how much taxes are you going to pay on that? We already went through this exercise with Gabe. How much taxes would you pay on that loan? Like, say
if I ask for a $100K loan from a bank? From a bank
to say buy you use that to buy like a car that you do on Turo that you're making, say $500,000 or $500 cash flow every month. Like you're profiting $500 every month.
How much taxes? I want to say zero, because it's not like capital gains. You're still in debt at that point. So
Zero. You're exactly right. So zero. But let's say you worked at Trader Joe's or wherever, and you saved up $100,000 over 2 years. How much taxes are you going to pay on that?
35%.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to pay 10, 20, 30, 40, whatever it ends up being, right?
Yeah. It's untaxed money.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it's cool because now the game's teaching you how the system works. I can go, this is why I said the last time we talked, when all these chip shortages from China, when all those tanker ships come and deliver the chips for the hundreds of thousands of cars that are waiting for these computer chips, and the cars now are off the assembly line going to the dealers, and there's an overflow of cars. And then on top of that, there's people whose cars are being repossessed because of inflation and they can't keep up with the payments and so on. What do you think are going to happen to the car prices? supply and demand, they're going to go down, like way down, right? And so now you go to the bank and you're like, hey, I want to borrow $50,000 or $100,000 or whatever. You do the numbers and you say, if I put this car on Turo or whatever, and I use Turo as an example, it's not the be all end all. You put this car on Turo and I can charge, $1,000 a week or $2,000 a week for a $500 or $50,000 car or something like that. The car's paid for and I'm profiting off the car, and the bank's happy. Bank's happy. You don't pay any taxes on that thing. You pay taxes just on what you've earned from profit. You don't pay taxes on that loan.
You get a free car.
You get a free car too.
Do you have to go in the bank with that idea already, or is it already written up?
Sometimes it depends. Like for me, I can go into a bank and say I want a personal loan for $50,000, and my credit's good enough, and I can get a $50,000 loan.
So you just look up your numbers and like, all right, we trust you, or we're gonna.
Yeah, or you if you have an LLC, you say, hey, here's my business, here's how much capital I have, here's what I want to buy. Yeah.
And it just comes. Do they just put you like they look at all the specs and look on their spreadsheet like, okay, you qualify for everything.
And well, on the business, they'll look at the specs on everything, how much it'll bring in, and so on and so forth, and they'll say yes or no off of the profit. That's why you can go to a business. You can even go to a business that's floundering, and you're like, I know I can bring this back or whatever. Get their numbers. Go to the bank. Say, here's the numbers. When I come in, this is the profit, and so on and so forth, and buy a business just with lending. That's what like Dan Pena. That's what he does. Dan Pena, he's awesome. He's like, you're fucking.
It makes sense to buy like a. Well, obviously, you want to get the best deals. Like
he's always like, because you're all fucking idiots. That's why you're not making money. He's Dan Pena is he's like an old entrepreneur. He has like a castle in Great Britain and stuff like that.
Oh, Dan Pena. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking from the gym.
No, that's a different Pena.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I seen an interview with him, dude from London.
Yeah, London Real. It was a.
I made me look at it twice, and I was like, who's like the lesser of two evils? Like, what's going on? And I'm like, this guy's like, he's so sick
awesome.
of our shit.
He's awesome.
He's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
You know those times like I read it, and I'm kind of bad on myself. Like, he's so right.
But that's how he gets his businesses. That's how he teaches how to get businesses through lending. You just have to know your numbers, and you go to the different banks. You know the numbers of what's in, like an old retiring guy whose their business is making money, and he just wants to offload it. And you have the numbers. You give it to the bank. The bank gives you the loan for it to buy it, and then you're servicing the debt. Like, if say it makes $10,000 a month. And profit, profit, and the bank you need to pay $5,000. You pay $5,000, now you profit $5,000 total off of that, but you didn't pay anything up front. You didn't get taxed on the lending or anything like that. If that makes sense. Does it make sense? But this is what this teaches, is that at least the way our system works. Use other people's money to make money. This is why the sweep strategy stuff with Lewis, who started using it, you build up your credit like crazy, and you can start doing stuff like that, where you can even use lines of credit to buy the materials for the t-shirts that are going to sell for X amount, and rather than buying the t-shirts with your own money that you're getting taxed on, you just buy. If he knows he could sell 100 t-shirts, then line of credit, do 100 t-shirts, sell them off, pay off the line of credit, do it again,
It's where you can just stretch your money.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You gotta, initially though, because I know you said like it's possible to start, how do you buy a $100,000 car with zero money? It's not with zero money. You have to have some kind of capital, right?
It depends. So
what if you have
the question is like, you need to put some kind of down payment or some kind of collateral. It depends. It honestly depends. Like, if you're getting a line of credit, like for me with my businesses, I don't want to say how much, but in less than a week, I got a lot of money in lines of credit. Literally just by going on the computer, saying I need a line of credit, applying at different banks, different cards, things like that. And they're like, approved, approved, approved. So then I just go buy the car. I don't need any collateral, nothing. So it really just depends.
You buy the car flat out with the credit line?
With the credit line.
Instead of saying, oh, I'm just gonna make payments on the car with the credit line, you just might as well just buy it all out once.
I couldn't buy it.
2 loans involved.
Yeah, I don't have. Why do I need to do a loan? Why do I need to put collateral down? Why do I need on a say the car was $50,000 on a typical credit line? What is the monthly payment going to be on a $50,000? Like, what's the minimum payment? $500. So on a $50,000 car, and if I'm like, I can rent this car out for, if I can rent it out for $500 a week, that's $2,000. I net $1,500. Or if I just rent it out 3 weeks and then I keep it and I go and joyride it for a week.
So it's like just stay home and make some money.
Yep.
Or go for a walk.
That's yep. Yep.
Go for a jog.
Go for a jog.
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching. That's it. That's it. And then after 2 years, when then you're depreciating the tax on it, or whatever you can, and then after 2 years, sell it, do it again.
And then you're gonna get cash for that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Yeah.
So, but it's all based off of what you learned in the cash flow game, and the same thing goes for business. The businesses are the exact same thing. Like when you're buying assets and stuff like that. Like that's why this is so important. This is how the great there's no entrepreneur, that great entrepreneur, that doesn't do something like this.
And playing by the rules, playing by the game.
You're playing by the game. Like you can choose how you want. On Monopoly, you can choose to buy no properties. You can choose to just get $200 every time you pass go. Some people some people in life are extremely happy with that. I'll just get my $200. I'll go watch football. I'll go watch The Mandalorian, Obi-Wan Kenobi every day. Just give me my $200. That's it. I don't want to take any risks. I don't want to buy any properties. I don't want to buy any hotels, nothing. They can do that all day long if they want. Every time they pass, unless they get put in jail, then they have to figure out, how the heck am I going to pay for this? But they can pass and get $200.
When you're in jail, you don't get that $200.
You don't get that $200, and you just either sit there until you rot, or roll your dice, or pay your dues, or not. But most people in the world are very happy with that $200, and then they lose the game ultimately, right?
Yeah.
But same thing in cash flow. Like you could literally take no deals and just go around and around and around and around, and you get your payday. That's it. It's gonna take a long time for you to pay off everything, and even if you didn't want to pay off, you don't have to. And a lot of people nowadays, especially men, really men, are trained to be little docile, let's play it safe. Let's just get our paycheck. Let's not run off to an adventure like Lewis.
I'm scared. No, I'm scared.
What do you think about Dave Ramsey's concepts?
I think he loves selling his books and his snowball method. I used the snowball method back in the day to get out of debt. It works. It totally works. The problem is, I think it's a good introduction to, because even with the snowball method, there's an aspect of it that is in the sweep strategy. There's an aspect in it in a lot of stuff that you will end up doing later on that's more advanced and better. The big problem is, what's the purpose of it?
To pay off your credit cards.
Pay off your credit cards and debts.
Start with the middle one.
Right.
Small. I read the
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the income snowball or the debt snowball. I
Start with the smallest.
and then work your way up. I got
Get
completely
3
out of
jobs,
debt with it.
Get 2 jobs.
Mhm.
Work 80 hours a week. Put your
Be
wife
like
to,
the
hey, put your wife to work.
But that's totally.
I was like, wait a minute.
He's like, be like the gazelle.
Gazelles. You run from the other gazelle.
Lions, not gazelles.